what's up, my little tattletales, and what's up, Sussex squad? Y'all sit down. We need to talk. If you don't know, Meghan Markle has been dragged in the media by Chris Rock, Rebel Wilson. We're going to get to them, but also we are going to talk about Charles and the way he is in PR damage control. But at the end of the day, it's like all his other stuff. You think everybody's stupid, but the real gag is, baby, this is going to blow up in your face real time, because guess what? Even more people said no to the King's coronation, the King's Jubilee, y'all. Let's get into this because, ooh, I love it when people expose themselves. I love it when people finally let you into what they're doing, because honestly, now we can just sit back and just evaluate the situation. And I love it when King Charles gets his karma, y'all. I don't know what Charles expected to happen after he literally made a public showing about kicking Meghan and Harry out of Frogmore. Harry is, reports are saying, they're in negotiations to negotiate their exit, okay? They're saying that their time at Frogmore has come to the end. However, I do think they are negotiating to see about his money being paid out and everything else that is going on. Listen, Harry might be like, y'all might be dumb, but I'm not stupid. But let's get into this because, baby, the roosters are coming home to nest. Listen, Kylie Minogue, right? A passionate Australian, has turned down the King's Jubilee concert. Anyone that wants to remain current does not want to perform for a bunch of colonizers that are actively bullying one of two sons, but also the only woman in your whole bloodline. How long is that monarchy? To ever not be lily white and ugly, okay? Sorry, Harry, you got better looking, but come on, that was your mommy's blood. Anyway, let's actually get into this, okay? Because I do want to say this. Somebody in my comment section, I forget who you were, had the nerve to say, what are you talking about? A Black South African opera singer said it would be her honor to perform. And also, Lionel Richie's performing. And I said, that was the own King Charles wanted. That's to show they're hip, cool, and in with the cool crowd. You got a singer from South Africa. That's already, we can have a talk about that. But also you got Lionel Richie. And here's the thing, I love Lionel Richie. My mom used to always play it when I was younger. I love Lionel Richie, but is he doing it right? Is he going viral on Instagram? Is it gonna get the pizzazz that he wants, the razzle dazzle? No, I don't think so. See, here's the funny thing that's actually really, really making them mad. As much as they hate it, and their royalty, everybody keeps looking at royalty like, oh, you're ordained by blood, you're ordained by God. I don't believe this. This is all smoke and mirrors. You're not ordained by anyone, because I refuse to believe that any heavenly body put those people in charge. When you go into the history of what they did, even the Queen, let's not forget the Queen shut away two of her special needs cousins that she grew up with. She was tight, well, supposed to be tight with them. They were special needs. You shut them away at a some type of facility, and then rewrote the books that say that they passed away years before. And we only found out about it because when they really passed away, we're like, wait, the Queen said, this is how deep that stuff goes. They are all horrible people. Absolute power corrupts everybody. Absolutely. I do not believe that is ordained by anything on heaven, hell, or on this earth, right? Okay, so we got that out the way. Y'all know I'm anti-monarchy, but let's actually really talk about this, because the thing is with Charles, he did this dumb thing where he invited Harry and Meghan after he publicly humiliated, said they were taking Frogmore, said this, that. Then he said, oh my God, I do hope you come. And you know what else? I fear I won't have a relationship with Archie and Lilibet, because you think you're winning the PR war. Again, this goes back to them being the original celebrities. They were popping because, put it like this, Queen Elizabeth got that family popping because she was young enough and connected enough to real life to jump on the advent of TV and tabloids. Do you know what that means? If you were to make a modern analogy, Queen Elizabeth is the original Instagram girly. You know, like the people that got in on Instagram, on TikTok early, understood what it was, boom, they blew up. She literally was the Kylie Jenner right? The Kylie Jenner, but back then. She saw the wave, she saw where it's going, and she jumped on it. The monarchy has not been revolutionized since then. They refused to believe. Back then, Queen Elizabeth was groundbreaking for making them be like, no, people are on TV. We should try to get on TV. No. People read these tabloids. Because before that, they only wanted historical record. The men in gray were like, okay, now we're all about TV and tabloids. But here's the thing. You don't have another Queen Elizabeth. Charles and William ain't doing that. And there's no one to explain to you that the age of TV, the age of written book, it's over. Now hear me out. Of course, I know books are never going anywhere. TV, who knows where that will be in 100 years. But the way people get information, think about it. When you get information, it used to be in Queen Elizabeth's time, you had to walk to the library and check out the book, and only approved books would be in the library, your knowledge. If you want to know anything about any of the royals or anything, what do? You hit Google up, you go to Instagram, you hit up Twitter. The way we get information has changed. Charles, by doing these stupid PR overtures, because he thinks history will remember him kindly, because the historical record will reflect that he invited them. Nah, baby, there's a whole record called Instagram, Twitter, everything that will reflect that you were absolutely horrible. But it's nice to see his karma coming back. Speaking of karma, y'all, let's talk about Chris Rock. I have an opinion, and it is two things. One, Chris Rock is not funny. Will Smith revived his career by smacking the mess out of him, and Chris did what he could to remind us that you're boring and nobody cares. He did a comedy special where he spent how many minutes dragging Black women? Okay, the Will and Jada stuff I kind of saw coming, because at the end of the day, Chris and Will definitely had beef, but I find it odd that the way you solved that beef was by making a whole comedy special dragging a Black woman that in your mind didn't do anything to you. Let's actually think about this, right? Well, I'll get to that in another video. But Jada didn't do anything to you. She didn't say anything to you. She had no parts. So why are you more mad at the man that hit you than the woman that was quietly sitting at his side? But let's get into what he said with Meghan Markle. Chris Rock said, and I said, what Meghan Markle went through in the UK was not racism. He basically said that some of the ish she went through was not racism, but rather what he called in-law ish. He said that you married into the royal OGs of racism, the Sugar Hill gang of racism, claiming they invested in slavery like it was a Shark Tank. So let me get this straight, because Chris Rock is an idiot. I don't care what any of you guys say. Be respectful in the comments. Let me know if you have a different opinion, but he's been on this ish. He has always been anti-Black woman. And to me, he harbors a lot of anti-Black views. I think he is anti-Black. I think he hates his complexion. I think he hates himself. I do. This is my opinion, right? But how do you say that you married into OG colonizers, but yet what you went through wasn't based on your race? It actually doesn't make sense. He went on to say, sometimes it's just in-law-ish. Because she's complaining. I'm like, what the F is she talking about? They're so racist, they wanted to know how brown the baby was going to be. I'm like, that's not racist, because even Black people want to know how brown the baby going to be. Check behind the ears. Again, the fact that he spews anti-Black rhetoric to mostly white audiences, and you're jumping on this hate train with Meghan. Why? Because at the end of the day, Meghan's name sells. You see the way the U.S. Sun, and they're getting their clicks and views, and you're doing the same thing, Chris. He said he also called Meghan a victim, saying everyone is trying to be the victim, including people who know GD, they're not victims. After mentioning Meghan specifically, he said she seems like a nice lady just complaining. Chris Rock is saying that everybody's going to be a victim. You got slapped, didn't knock you down, but I'm sure it stung, on TV. And while that was bad and are you not playing the victim? Have you not been playing the victim for the last year? Is this not a victim tour? Your whole narrative is now being a victim. And you have the nerve to say that somebody that said they were pretty much suicidal, somebody that said that they were contemplating ending their own life, you want to sit there and say that they're playing a victim? Chris Rock is dangerous, but there's more. She said, like, Didn't she hit the light skin lottery? That's right, Chris, because the only thing in life is being light skinned, right? Bet you wish you had gotten that lottery. And she's still going off complaining, saying the fact that why is Chris Rock still a thing? We need to cancel him. You know, when we talk about colonizers, when we talk about oppression, when we talk about racism, we need to have a serious talk about what those effects are. It's not just the fact that there's racist, because if there was only that, it would be easy to overturn that. It's that they set up a power structure where there are people, sometimes they look like you, sometimes they sound like you, sometimes they literally are people that share your own blood, that are all invested for different reasons. Some of them want the power, some of them have low self-esteem, some of them want proximity, some of them ate that self-hate until it filled them up, right? That literally go and push the norm of the status quo. And I am sick of people acting that just because we should be together and should have a vested interest, I'm sick of people acting like shocked, like, well, Black person said it. And it disgusts me that there were audiences sitting there laughing at a Black woman that said that she felt so abused because of the color of her skin that she committed offing herself. Even it looks like miscarried a child, and you made that into your stand-up special. And he didn't even do a good job of it. This is the last thing he said. Let me just get into this because this took the cake. He said, Black girl trying to be accepted by her white in-laws. Oh, it's hard. It's so hard. It's very hard. But it ain't as hard as a white girl trying to be accepted by her Black in-laws. Get this. This is what a Black man said that y'all going up for and smacking hands, right? Now that ish is really hard. If you Black and you want to be accepted by your white in-laws, then you need to marry a Kardashian because they accept everybody. Kris Jenner is the Statue of Liberty, y'all. Speaking of the Statue of Liberty, let's talk about Rebel Wilson. I'll leave that analogy on the table. She also wanted to take a run-in with Meghan Markle. You know what I will say? Meghan Markle in 2023 is becoming a litmus test on how people feel about race, what they support, and where they feel. Chris Rock is always going to be trash to me. I see where he fits in at the hierarchy, and at the end of the day, you're mad that Meghan thought that she was worth more than you do. You think that she sits at the bottom, and you think that she should be glad to even be invited into the rooms, because this is the same person that sat there that let, what's his name, the redhead guy, Louis C.K., call you an N-word to your face, while Ricky Gervais sat there looking inbred, laughing like a skeeve in the background, to the point that Jerry Seinfeld had to step up and be like, okay, I'm uncomfortable with that word, and you should be uncomfortable too. And I'm uncomfortable with that word because you are comfortable with it. Jerry Seinfeld is the one. Go watch that clip on YouTube. Anyway, Rebel Wilson said that Meghan wasn't naturally warm. Let me tell you something. Rebel Wilson is a pick-me Karen. I've always thought this. She has problematic things with race. Australia as a whole has a problematic thing with race. But Rebel Wilson has always been problematic with race. She is a pick-me. You know what I think's going on? She said she wasn't naturally warm because Meghan didn't delight at the fact that Rebel Wilson's mother, right, was asking rude questions to Meghan, and Meghan was just looking at her like, don't make me curse your bed out, right? Rebel Wilson is a pick-me Karen. And Rebel Wilson and Chris Rock are mad because in the world they live in a world that they are oppressed in, Meghan doesn't rank high as them, and they're mad that not only did Meghan get further than them, but she wasn't satisfied and she demanded to be equal. See, here's the thing. Rebel Wilson and Chris Rock both fall into ranking category. Think about it, right? White, heterosexual male at the top, right? Chris Rock and Rebel Wilson are like, well, I'm a man, but I'm Black. Well, I'm a woman, but ain't that, right? I'm being serious. This is the way they think. So in their minds, they're never going to be at the top. And they've come to peace with that. And they're fine with it. As long as somebody's on the bottom. And Meghan should be on the bottom. Think about it, Rebel Wilson. Yes, you're white, you're this and that, but the people you want to be around, they don't find you attractive. So you have a few points, but you feel better because a girl like Meghan Markle, no matter how whatever girl like Meghan Markle is, she's always going to be below you. Chris Rock, this and that, yeah, she's supposed to be below you too. It's all sheer jealousy. But Meghan Markle is a litmus test for the way people deal with they deal with it. And I, for one, am sickened. But you know what? This is good. I love to see when people expose themselves, and I hope they expose themselves more. All right, you guys, let me know what you think in the comments, and I will talk to you later. Bye.